we grew up listening to live music in our living room and being quite influenced by that. My father, who passed away just this last spring, was a biology professor by trade, but a really great folk singer and guitar player. And when he was in college, he went to Harvard, and that was sort of a real center for the folk explosion, or the folk implosion, as some people call it. So growing up, he was always playing as Martin and singing these songs, and they were blues songs, they were classic folk songs. And I will add that my mother was a published poet, and she was the word person, where my dad was more the music person. And so I don't think we appreciated the poetry until much later, especially after she passed. But I definitely have a love of words now, and I'm sure that comes from there too.
Through the curtain I wanna see roses soft and red, but I see shadows in misgiving and misgiving living in my head.
My sort of bread and butter thing I've been doing for 20 years is called the Wood Brothers, and I've done in between the cracks of the very full Wood Brothers schedule. I've been able to make a couple solo albums. So occasionally I get to collaborate with some other people. So I have Ted Pecchio on bass, who's an old friend of mine, and we've played off and on for years, and he's just one of my favorite people. And then I have Jono Ricks on percussion today, and he actually plays with me in the Wood Brothers, so I've known him for 15 years from doing that. These are my dearest friends, and we just love playing together. We don't get to play together enough.
Cup of coffee and a fat cat silhouette in the window, sprawling sideways in my armchair, I'm all akimbo.
One of the songs I'm doing from my latest record, which features both Jono and Ted, it's called Little Worries, and it has the line Fat Cat Silhouette in it, which is where the album, that my latest record, got its title, Fat Cat Silhouette. Incidentally, Jono Ricks produced that album. Ted Pecchio played on the album, and that was a song that Jono and I put together.
Little worries come out of my tears, drying up in the sun. Little worries, they flown away just as quick as they come. Little worries, they flown away just as quick as they come. Little worry, they float away just as quick as they come.
The other song I'm playing is called Grab a Hold, and it's a song I co-wrote with a good friend, Seth Walker. And Seth Walker and I go way back, and we've had fun sharing songs and writing songs together. And actually, we wrote that song together at least 10 years ago, and he put it on one of his albums that I produced. And then when it came around this time, I'd been playing it around the house, and I was like, I want to record my own version of that.
It's one of those days and it all goes wrong, and one of those weeks and one of those years, and all you can do is sing that same sad song and soak in your own tears.
I'm sure I'm not the only vintage guitar nerd in Nashville. There's a million of us. But I especially like the older but cheaper kind of stuff. So not old and fancy, but I feel like the cheaper stuff back in the day was made a lot better than some of the new stuff today. And just for some of us, just having an old piece of wood makes a difference. And I think part of it, there's actual sound. It vibrates differently, but there's also, you get the feeling that it's has some spirits in it from all the previous owners and all the miles and all the scratches and everything. There's something intangible that's in the instrument that comes from being handled for years and years, and so that's pretty special, I think.
Maybe you're lost in a deep dark dream. Feels like you don't stand a chance. Maybe you're falling way down through the seams. Yeah, you wanna wake up, but you can't.
I moved here about 10 years ago, and I think my favorite thing, even if I don't see another soul, is just to know that there's people in my neighborhood and in my city that are writing great songs. I'll also say it influences some of us in a way that's not quite as obvious. The very commercial and businessy side of it, and the slicker pop music, which there's nothing wrong with that music, but I don't want to do that. And so I sometimes use that as an inspiration to, all right, I don't want it to sound like that. I want to go the opposite. So I want to get the worst guitar sound anyone's ever heard and play some of the stupidest licks ever. Because there's so many incredible musicians and sounds and things that are very modern and slick. And for those of us who like the dirtier stuff, well, we have something to react to. And it's not to take away from anything. It's just, you get influenced by things you don't want to do. That sounds too something, so let's go the opposite way. And I will say there's so much great underground garage rock, and I know jazz players and heavy rock players and things that you don't associate with Nashville. Great blues players. I get influenced by all of it in some way. In the near future, I'm recording a new Wood Brothers album with my brother Chris Wood and with John Ricks. And we have an awesome studio space here in Nashville called the Studio Nashville. So we'll be working there and playing weird old instruments and seeing what we can do.
Hey, just grab a hold of me. Grab a hold of me. And we're both going down together. You just grab a hold of me.
Grab a hold of me.
And we're both going down together. You just grab a hold of me.